BR changes, September 2021, coming your way from Gaijin. Good evening, I'm Old Dead Man, your host. We're going to be looking at those BR changes real fast, and I am going to burn through these as fast as I can, because there is a lot of them, and I'll give you my conclusions and a few comments in the middle there someplace. So we're going to be doing it country-wise, then we'll hit the naval, the air, and the ground. There's a lot more air than ground, and the naval changes are interesting. I might address them entirely at the end. Okay, so let's get started. First off, here's the British arcade BR changes. Britain, the HMS Vega and the Verdun are going from 3.3 to 3.7. The Nepal, the Kelvin, the Jervis, the Armada, and the Tobruk are going from 4.3 to 4.7. The York, the Norfolk, and the Tiger are going from 5.3 to 5.7. The Kent is going from 5.7 to 6.0. The Invincible is going from 6.0 to 6.3. The Dreadnought's going, and the Colossus are both going from 6.0 to 6.7. Aircraft. The V-156B1 is going from 1.3 to 1.0. The Beaufort Mark 8 and the Blenheim Mark 4 are going from 1.7 to 1.3. The Hurricane Mark 2B Trop and the Sunderland Mark 5 are going from 2.0 to 2.3. The Firecrest, the Wellington Mark 1C Late, and the A35B are going from 2.7 to 2.3. The Beaufighter Mark 6C and the Mosquito FB Mark 18 are going from 3.0 to 2.7. The Spitfire Mark 2A, the D520, and the D521 are going from 2.7 to 3.0. The Beaufighter Mark 10, the Wellington Mark 10 are both going from 3.3 to 3.0. The Spitfire Mark 2B is going from 3.0 to 3.3. The Firefly F Mark 1 and the Mosquito FB Mark 6 are going from 3.7 to 3.3. The Tempest Mark 5 Vickers P, the Firebrand TF Mark 4, and the Firefly FR Mark 5 are going from 4.0 to 3.7. The Spitfire Mark 5B is going from 3.7 to 4.0. The Sterling B Mark 1 is going from 4.7 to 4.3. The Spitfire Mark 5C is listed as going from 4.3 to 4.7, but that looks like the Trops numbers. So I believe the Trop is going from 4.3 to 4.7. The Spitfire Mark 5C Trop is listed as 4.7 to 5.0, but it's the 5C's numbers. So I believe the 5C is going from 4.7 to 5.0. The Hornet Mark 3 and the Hornet Mark 1 are both going from 5.7 to 6.0. The Lincoln B Mark 2, the Shackleton MR Mark 2 are both going from 6.0 to 6.3. The Spitfire F Mark 24 is going from 6.7 to 7.0. That was the one they mentioned last time. And obviously they decided that you got to go against more jets if you've got a Spitfire F Mark 24. So prepare for that to be coming your way. Ken Burger B Mark II is going from 8.3 to 8.7. Again, I don't agree with that, but it is what it is. Buccaneer S1 is going from 8.7 to 9.0. The Lightning F6 is going from 9.7 to 9.3. The Buccaneer S2 is going from 9.3 to 9.7. On the ground, we've got a Gun Carrier 3-inch, which is an awful tank, going from 3.0 to 2.7. The Crusader AA Mark 1 going from 4.0 to 3.7. The Roddle 20 going from 7.3 to 7.0. The ADATS M113 going from 10.7 to 11.0. And that's everything for Britain. Let's pick it up with China. Over in China, we have the I-16 Type 10 going from 1.7 to 2.0, the I-16 Type 17 going from 2.7 to 3.0, the Key 45 High Tie, the P1Y1 Model 11 are going from 3.3 to 3.0, the Mosquito FB Mark 26 going from 3.7 to 3.3, the A6M2 going from 3.3 to 3.7, the IL-10 1946 going from 5.0 to 4.7, the TU-4 going from 8.0 to 8.3, the H-5 going from 8.0 to 8.3 as well, the F-100A going from 9.7 to 9.3. And on the ground, we have the Chinese M24 going from 3.3 to 3.7, the M42 from 5.3 to 5.0, the Hong Kong T34 going from 5.3 to 5.0, the M36 going from 5.7 to 5.3, the PG-Z04A going from 10.0 to 9.7. And that's everything for China. Let's pick it up with France. Over in France, we have the Palliers D510 going from 1.3 to 1.7, the F222.2 going from 1.7 to 2.0, the Martin 167A3 going from 2.3 to 2.0, the Potes 630 from 2.0 to 2.3, the MB 174A3 going from 2.7 to 2.3, the NC 223.3 going from 2.7 to 3.0, along with the D520, the MB 157 going from 3.3 to 3.7, the Yak 3 going from 4.0 to 4.3, the VB 10-02 going from 4.3 to 4.7, along with the MB 160 62 as well. The F4U7 and the AD4 are both going from 6.0 to 5.7. The F84F and in both versions are going from 8.3 to 8.0. The F100D is going from 9.7 to 9.3. The SO 4050 Vator 2B, the Vator 2A IDFAF, and the SO 4050 Vator 2A going from 9.0 to 9.3. And on the ground, we have the CCKW 353AA going from 2.3 to 2.0, the AMX 13 DCA 40 going from 4.7 to 4.3, the EBR 1954 going from 5.7 to 6.0. It's basically an M18 with a better ammunition load, so it doesn't surprise me at all. It's got M18 like capabilities there. Just maybe not as fast on the rougher terrain. The CA Lorraine going from 6.3 to 6.0, and the AMX 50 Surblinde going from 8.0 to 7.7. And that's everything for France. Let's go over to Germany. And over in Germany Naval, we have the Z-22 Anton Schmidt and the Karl Galster going from 4.3 to 4.7, the Z-43 from 4.3 to 5.0, the Köln from 5.3 to 5.7, the Karlsruhe from 5.3 to 5.7, and the Westphalen, Von der Tann, Helgoland, and Kaiser all going from 6.0 to 6.3. The Z-43 is having its rank increased to 3, and the Leipzig is having its rank lowered to 3. And let's go over to the aircraft. Ju-87R2 going from 1.3 to 1.0. The G2 going from 1.7 to 1.3. The AR-196A3, the Marcolin CR-42CN, and the HE-112A0 going from 1.3 to 1.7. The Ju-87D3 going from 2.0 to 1.7. The FW-189A1 going from 1.7 to 2.0. The HS-129B3 and the SM-79 Series 4 going from 2.3 to 2.0. The BF-109E3, the Ju-88C6, the HS-129B2 going from 2.7 to 2.3, the C-202, BF-109F1, SM-79AS, and Ju-88A4 are all going from 2.3 to 2.7. The BF-110C7 going from 3.0 to 2.7, the DO-217N1 going from 3.0 to 2.7, the ME-410A1U4, Ju-87D5, and the BF-110F2 all going from 3.3 to 3.0. The ME-410A1 and the BF-110G2 going from 3.7 to 3.3. The ME-410B2U4 is moving from 4.0 to 3.7. The DO-335A1, DO-217E2, and the E4 are all moving from 4.7 to 4.3. The ME-410B6R3 is moving from 5.3 to 5.0. The DO-335B2 is going from 5.7 to 5.3. The ME-262A2A is going from 6.7 to 7.0. The HO-229V3 going from 7.3 to 7.0. The German F-84F is going from 8.3 to 8.0. The IL-28 is going from 8.0 to 8.3. The GL-91R3 is going from 8.7 to 8.3. Really? The MiG-19S is going from 9.7 to 9.3. And over on the ground, we have the Flak Panzer 38 going from 1.7 to 1.3. The SDKFC 6.2 going from 2.0 to 1.7. The Ostwind going from 4.0 to 3.7. And the Ostwind 2 going from 5.3 to 5.0. Let's move on to Italy. We're in Italy. We have the Bartolomeo Colleone and the Trento going from 4.7 to 5.0. And we have the Polo and the Zara going from 5.3 to 5.7. The Dante Alighieri going from 6.0 to 6.3. And for Italian aircraft, we have the Ju-87R2 going from 1.3 to 1.0, the Breda 88P11 going from 1.7 to 1.3, the CR-42 going from 1.3 to 1.7, the Ju-87D3 and the FC-20 BIS going from 2.0 to 1.7, the P-108A Series 2 and the RE-2002 Early going from 2.3 to 2.0, the P-108B Series 2 going from 3.7 to 3.3, the G-55 Series 1 going from 4.7 to 5.0, RE-2005 Series 0 going from 5.3 to 5.7, the G-56 going from 6.3 to 6.0, the F-84F going from 8.3 to 8.0, the Sagittario 2 and the CL-13 Mark IV are both going from 8.7 to 9.0, no surprise. The F-104G going from 10.0 to 10.3. The F-104S 10.3 to 10.7. And over in the Italian ground tree, we have the M24 going from 3.3 to 3.7. The M36B1 going from 6.0 to 5.7. And that's everything in Italy. Let's pop on over to Japan. And over in Japanese Naval, we have the Yugure going from 4.0 to 4.3, the Yudachi and the Kiyoshimo going from 4.3 to 4.7, the Isuzu, Yubari, and Shimakaze going from 4.7 to 5.0, the Agano going from 5.0 to 5.3, and changing positions with the Furutaka. We have the Mikuma, Mogami, and Tone going from 5.7 to 6.0, with the Tone changing places with the Ikoma. And we have the Setsu going from 6.0 to 6.3, the Hyuga going from 6.0 to 6.7. And of course, we already mentioned the Kuma and the Koma in there with those sections there. So, some changing places, but let's move on. And aircraft in Japan, the A5M4 is going from 1.3 to 1.7. The Ki 109 and the D4Y1 are going from 2.0 to 1.7. The Ki 45 Atsu and the D4Y2 and the B6N2 Model 12 are all going from 2.3 to 2.0. The Ki 45 High is going from 2.3 to 2.7. The Ki 102 Atsu, the Ki 49 2A, and the P1Y1 Model 11 are all going from 3.3 to 3.0. The Ki 61 1 Atsu is going from 3.0 to 3.3. The Ki 49 2B is going from 3.7 to 3.3. The H8K2, A6M2, H8K3 are all going from 3.3 to 3.7. The A6M3 is going from 3.7 to 4.0. The A6M3 Mod 22 and the Ki 67-1 Co are going from 4.0 to 4.3. The G5N1 is going from 4.7 to 4.3. The A6M5 and the A6M3 Mod 22 Co are both going from 4.3 to 4.7. The A6M6C is going from 4.7 to 5.0. The A6M5 High and the A6M5 Atsu are both going from 5.0 to 5.3. The J5N1 and the J2M3 are both going from 5.3 to 5.7. The G8N1 is going from 5.7 to 6.0. The J6K1 is going from 6.0 to 6.3. The Ki 84 High is going from 6.3 to 6.7. And the Ki 200, that poor maligned rocket plane, is going from 8.3 to 8.7. Let's cut over to the ground vehicles now. The M24 is going from 3.3 to 3.7, the M19A1 from 4.3 to 4.0, and the M42 going from 5.3 to 5.0. And that's everything for Japan. Let's pop on over to Russia. In Russian Naval, we have the Bezuprezhny and the Smelye going from 4.3 to 4.7. The Krasny Kavkaz going from 4.7 to 5.0. The Chapayev, the Zeleznikov, then the Sverdlov are all going from 5.7 to 6.0. The Poltava, the Imperatrica Maria, and the Parazhskaya Komuna is going from 6.0 to 6.7, all three of them. And on to the Russian planes, we have the SB-2M100 going from 1.3 to 1.0, the SB-2M103 MV3, and the SU-2 MV5 going from 1.7 to 1.3, the SU-2 TSS-1, and the PE-3 Early going from 2.0 to 1.7, the IL-2 1941 and the LAG-335 going from 2.3 to 2.0, the SU-2 M82 and the IL-2 37 going from 2.7 to 2.3, the I-16 Type 24 going from 2.3 to 2.7, the IL-2 1942, the PE-3, and the IL-4 all going from 3.0 to 2.7, the PE-3 BIS, the PE-283, and the PE-21 all going from 3.3 to 3.0. The Hurricane Mark 2B is going from 3.0 to 3.3. The PE-2110, the Euro-2 M105, the Yak-9K, and the Yak-9T, and the PE-2205 are all going from 4.0 to 3.7, which might destroy your 4.0 lineup, so keep an eye out. The Russian P-47D-27, the PE-2 is going from 4.3 to 4.0. The Yak-3 is going from 4.0 to 4.3. The Su-6 AM-42, Year 2 ACH-30B late are both going from 4.7 to 4.3. The Yak-9U is going from 4.3 to 4.7. The IL-10 1946, IL-10, and the Su-6 M71F are all going from 5.0 to 4.7. The LA-7 is going from 4.7 to 5.0. The BE-6 from 5.0 to 5.3. The TU-1 and the TU-2S44 are going from 5.7 to 5.3. The Yak-15 and the Yak-17 are joining each other from 6.7 to 7.0. The TU-4, the TU-14T, and the IL-28 are all going from 8.0 to 8.3. The Yak-23, Yak-30 are both going from 8.3 to 8.7. The MiG-21F-13 and the MiG-21 PFM and the Yak-38 are all going from 9.3 to 9.0. The Yak-38M and the MiG-19 PT are going from 9.7 to 9.3. The Yak-28B is going from 9.3 to 9.7. The Su-17M2 is going to top tier from 10.7 to 11.0. So let's look at Russian ground vehicles. The ZUT-37 is going from 2.7 to 2.3. The BTR-152A is going from 3.0 to 2.7. The ZIS-43 and the ZIS-1294KM are going from 3.3 to 3.0. Surprise. ZSU-37 from 4.0 to 3.7. The Hong Kong T-34 going from 5.3 to 5.0. The ZSU-37-2 going from 8.0 to 7.7. The T-64B going from 9.7 to 9.3. And that's all we've got to say about Russia today. Let's move on to Sweden. And over in Sweden, we have a short list here. We have the J28B going from 7.7 to 8.0, the J29F going from 8.7 to 9.0, the A32A going from 9.0 to 9.3. And on the ground side, we have the L62 Anti-2 going from 3.0 to 2.7, and the LVKV42 going from 5.0 to 4.7. Now let's move on to the United States of America. Over in U.S. Naval, we have the Fletcher, the Cowell, and the Binion going from 4.3 to 4.7, the Porter and the Moffett going from 4.7 to 5.0, the Phelps going from 4.3 to 5.0. That's a two-step jump. We have the Brooklyn, the Helena, the Baltimore, and the Pittsburgh all going from 5.7 to 6.0. We have the North Dakota going from 6.0 to 6.3, and the Wyoming going from 6.0 to 6.7. The Portland and the Pensacola are both having their rank lowered to 4. And this is where we kind of can see that they're they're expanding the BRs for Naval out to 6.7. So this is a good change for Naval that'll give it a little less compression. Hopefully they can expand that even more, but we'll see what that does to the planes. That might explain a lot of the changes in aircraft moving up that you wouldn't expect to be able to. Interesting. And moving on to U.S. aircraft, we have the TBD-1 going from 1.3 to 1.0, the TBF-1C going from 1.7 to 1.3, the PBM-1 Mariner going from 2.0 to 2.3, the P-39N0 and the A-20G25 both going from 3.0 to 2.7, the P-39Q5 and the SB-2C-1C both going from 3.3 to 3.0, the F-6F5, the P-63A5 both going from 3.7 to 3.3, the A-6M2 moving from 3.3 to 3.7, and the B-25J1, SB-2C4, XA-38, PBJ-1J, P-51C-10, and the BTD, all moving from 4.0 to 3.7. So that may have just improved your 3.7 lineups in War Thunder on the air side. The B-25J20, the P-47D22RE, the F-6F5N, the P-47D25 are all going from 4.3 to 4.0, so we might actually have a lineup at 4.0 now. The P-47N15 and the F-4U4 are going from 5.0 to 4.7. The AD-2 and the AM-1 are both going from 5.7 to 5.3. The AD-4 and the F-8F1 are going from 6.0 to 5.7. The F-89D and the F-89B are both going from 7.7 to 7.3. The F-2H2 is going from 8.0 to 7.7. The F-84F is going from 8.3 to 8.0. The A-4E Early is going from 8.7 to 8.3. The B-57A and B are both going from 8.3 to 8.7. Don't agree with that one. The F-100D is going from 9.7 to 9.3. The F-4C Phantom II is going from 10.3 to 10.0. And that is all there is about U.S. Air. Let's see what's going on the ground side. For U.S. ground, we've got the M15 GMC taking its rightful place even lower from 2.0 to 1.7. The M13 GMC stepping it up from 1.3 to 1.7. The M24 moving from 3.3 to 3.7. The M19A1 from 4.3 to 4.0. The M42 from 5.3 to 5.0. The M36 GMC from 5.7 to 5.3. The M4A3E276W going from 6.0 to 6.3. The T26E1-1 going from 6.3 to 6.7. But I think it can do it. ADAT's going from 10.7 all the way to the top at 11.0. And those are the BR changes. I think the things that stood out to me more than anything else is the changes to the AA guns, dropping down a little bit for in most of the cases. The jiggling of the naval BRs so that you can get all the way up to 6.7. So that's a really interesting change. I think it'll help decompress things a lot. And I think that the aircraft are kind of the whole area that I'm not quite cottoning on to what's going on with those. Now, they could be adjusting them so that they work better in the naval lineups, but they're creating some interesting gaps there, at least in my mind. I'll have to see what it looks like when everything is going and all done. Hey guys, I'm about 16 hours into editing this over the last 3 days, making it look just right, and they've posted a commentary on the feedback they've received so far. That means the BR changes are imminent, but let me go through this real fast so you can see what their thought process is. I'm going to try and summarize it real fast, so bear with me. I'll make it quick. The top tier aircraft, they originally intended to reduce their battle rating by 1 step, since their combat efficiency is so low, but they're going to be watching these again. They're not going to reduce them. The MiG-21 F-13 and the PFM, the MiG-19 all series, the J-72, the J-6A, and the F-100 all series. So they're going to hold those for now, but you can bet they'll be watching them. Yak-38, Yak-38M, the A-6M5 Atsu and the High, the A-4B and E, the G91R, the P63A5, the ME262A2A, the Ki-200, the Yak-15 and 17, the J-28B will not be reconsidered. I hate the way they phrase that, but it looks like they're not going to be changing those BRs in this next update, at least from my understanding of this English. The Sagittario 2 is definitely going up. The CL-13 Mark IV, and this has been really discussed. They are going to postpone the changes for the CL-13, but the MiG-15 BIS, the F-86, F-25, and 30 will all be increased. So that's an interesting change to the original setup, so keep an eye on that one. The following aircraft, which are far superior in combat efficiency to other aircraft at their own and neighboring ranks, require a BR raise. The Yak-23, Yak-30, J-29F, the Tu-4, the SO-4050 Vator 2, all series, the Buccaneer S1 and S2, the Su-17M2, and the B-57A. Several of these I can't believe are being that efficient. I don't know what their statistics are, unless, of course, they're just making too much money, and then that's a totally different problem. So those are still getting the BR increase. The A5C suggestions, CL-13B, Mark 6, and the F-86, F-40, there were suggestions for changes there, but there's not going to be a change. The XP50 will be increased from 3.7 to 4.0. Apparently, there's some combat efficiency with that one right there. The ground vehicles. The EBR 1954 is an extremely highly efficient vehicle. The popularity is one of the best examples of the vehicle, so it's going to still go up in BR. If it goes as high as the AMX-13, they'll be looking at whether that really needs reconsidered entirely. So that's an interesting change. The T-80B is listed as low efficiency. They're going to be, it's close to the bottom, and they're going to monitor it, and they may take changes and take action later. The M4A3E 276W is a candidate for BR rise, and it goes up anyway. It says it's surpassing in combat efficiency even the Tiger II. I have a hard time believing that, but you know, I'm just a player. I have no clue. So that's what they're saying. Now, I have been killed a lot by that particular tank in the last little bit, spading out some of my 6.0 BR German tanks, so maybe, but not so much. The T26E1-1 is still going up. T25 still being efficient. I don't know how, but the combat efficiency has dropped, but it's now to the average efficiency of its BR, so they're not going to be dropping the BR for it. And the Type 89 IFV, it's equal to the Type 74 EF, and this means that decreasing its BR is not yet considered. And the HMS Mohawk will be continuing with the BR change because even though it has good armament, it has a lower fire rate. So there you go. That is their changes. And it says updated table of the planned BR changes will be published later. And as of this moment, as of the time of publication, it has not been published. So I'm going to hand you back off to previous me who recorded the original video, and you have a great night. Talk to you later. So, let me know what you think of all these. I know I shotgunned through them all. I've got the link to everything that happened, the spreadsheet in the description. So feel free to take a look and let me know what you think. Tell me what surprises you. Also, give me a thumbs up if you like this video. This is a fast delivery. Is this the type of delivery you prefer to have for this type of video? Let me know in the comments, please. And you have a great rest of your day. We will see you in War Thunder.